Hey everyone, welcome back to your week ahead astrology breakdown with me, Matthew from Stillwater Alchemy. How are we all doing as we come down from this Libra full moon? We're wrapping up Aries season. Things are moving very quickly, as per usual. A few announcements to make. This week, we start off with a Scorpio moon, making some really nice aspects to everything we have going on in Pisces. So if you're wanting a resource to tap into this magic to aid in your practice, the Libra full moon workshop would be a nice addition, especially with the meditation at the end, which I've received some really nice feedback that some crystal tears have been shed during that meditation. So if that's something that's interested of you, I will put it in the description of this video. As well, I'm going to be doing a live webinar detailing all of the eclipses that we're going to be having in the Taurus Scorpio axis. So that's going to be happening on Tuesday, April 26th, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm only going to be selling 20 tickets for the live recording because I am going to do a Q&A after we end the recording. And that way people have questions about their own natal chart or any curiosity around astrology. I can give time to those individuals. I can't guarantee I'm going to answer all questions, but I intend to stay there to answer as many as possible. So if you're interested in that, I'll also put the link to that live webinar in the description of this video as well. Okay. Beautiful. As per, I was going to say as per usual, but just as per recently, at the end of this video, I'm also going to be answering an astrology question I get a lot. So if you have questions that you're curious about, please leave them in the comments, and I'll always be ending off these week ahead breakdowns with a common question or with a question that I receive, just to input a bit more knowledge in there. Okay. Beautiful. Let's go into this week because there's lots to look forward to. So starting off on Monday, April 18th, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have the moon at 21 degrees Scorpio, making those beautiful trines to Neptune and Jupiter. So this is what I was saying before with regards to increased intuition, manifestation, aiding in your rituals, really getting clear on the feeling that we're desiring. We're still coming down from that Libra full moon, so there might be some activations that are coming through. Normally, when we have the moon in a fixed sign, like it is in Scorpio, she has to contend with Saturn in Aquarius and Uranus in Taurus, but she's moved far away enough from Uranus. That's more so just looking at that square with Neptune. So, pardon me, square with Saturn in Aquarius. So I would just be very careful of your emotional state starting off the week, not taking on other people's energy. Maybe you don't need to be on social media that much, just creating some nice boundaries there, even potentially as well, because this is going to be a common theme throughout the week as well. Just careful who you talk to and making sure that it's actually an aligned source. I think with that Libra full moon, a big energy that was coming through is the relationships, the love, the connection that we have. Are those energies serving us or not? So Saturn in an air sign, just being very cautious maybe of instilling those boundaries to ensure that we can tap into the heart space accordingly. One thing I also want to bring up is that Mercury is making a really nice sextile to Venus throughout this entire week. It's exact on Monday, but it's going to be within that 3-degree orb. So Mercury, Venus sextiles, this is really nice in terms of great communication, or maybe even new beliefs, new thoughts, new ideas that are more pleasurable. We have Mercury in a Venus ruled sign. Venus is currently exalted in Pisces. So I want you just to pay attention to what's coming through. We even talked about how last week journaling is a good practice to implement, even if it's just a one-word intention for the day or what's been coming through, a dream journal, whatever that means for you. This is a really good week to continue that practice or to initiate it just to see what's been coming through. And at the end of this week, Mercury will be conjunct the North Node, which is interesting, and we'll get to that as well, okay? When we move on to Tuesday, it's the last day of Aries season. And with the sun at the 29th degree, that critical degree, the arenetic degree, we even had this on Monday as well, right? So the sun squaring Pluto, and we have that on Tuesday as well. So there could also just be that Aries sun what we want individually, what we desire. And then Pluto can be more of those structures or traditions from a macro scale. So micro versus macro, what we want versus what are the boundaries, the restrictions, or the rules that are containing us. Sometimes with Sun Pluto energy, it can really be linked to authority, power, and control. And it can also just be seeking our own individual truth and what that means for us. And sometimes it means going against the grain or going against what other people think is possible or what's capable or what is the norm, right? And I think even what we experienced, I mean, throughout this entire pandemic, but even what we've been going through recently, if you feel like you're being called to go in a different direction in career, in your relationships, in what you simply believe, you may just be feeling that coming down from that Libra full moon, and especially at the beginning of the week. I will say that Tuesday is just a bit frictional or challenging, given that we have the sun square Pluto, and then we have the moon squaring Mars and Venus. So there might even be just a conversation that needs to be had, or maybe some friction with regards to feminine energy in your life or a feminine individual in your life, just because we have the moon and Venus going up against each other. I also just think that it might be an overwhelm of emotion or just a lot going on that you're dealing with and processing, or that potentially a lot of people want your energy or want your attention, or you just have a lot of things that you want to pursue. Potentially a lot of things have been becoming unlocked, a lot of emotions, a lot of ideas. You're getting really excited, but just like there's only so many hours in a day that you have to commit, which is why I think that taking Monday just to get crystal clear on what it is you desire, it'll make the rest of this week a little bit easier, right? So just be cautious of that, because when we move on to Wednesday, the sun moves into Taurus. So between April 20th and April 30th, we're going to have the sun, Uranus, Mercury, and the North Node all in Taurus. After April 30th, Mercury will move into Gemini. But I want you to look at your own individual natal chart to see which house is ruled by Taurus, because that's going to get a significant increase in energy, especially with all the eclipses that are going to be happening throughout the next year, and especially during this upcoming Taurus season. So that groundedness, that stability, that love, that luxury, that sensual, tactile energy that is experienced during Taurus season, generally speaking, it's a nice time to literally slow down and smell the roses. But with all the eclipses, I think it's just going to be a lot, to be honest, and not in a bad way. It's just going to be a lot. So I do want you to take time to slow down. Like I said, it's already the end of Aries season as I record this. I literally remember taking a photo at the start of Aries season. I'm like, oh, the sun is exalted in Aries. It's going to be such a great time. And here we are. So I just feel like normally Taurus, nice, slow, romantic. I just think there's going to be a lot of activations and a lot of things going on. So be aware of that, and just mindfulness and being in the moment every day will really assist, especially right now. Look, we have the moon in Sagittarius on Wednesday, making those squares to Neptune and Jupiter. So how Tuesday might have felt overwhelming, Wednesday might just be like, I have so much energy and I want to commit to so many things. It might just be like, okay, this, I needed a moment to process, but now I'm ready to go. Or now it just seems like there's lots to be excited about. We've talked about this before. If you've been watching these weekly forecasts, when the moon is making a square or an opposition to Neptune, it can sometimes lead to confusion or emotionally attaching yourself to something that isn't even real, or getting in your head about something that, again, is just a story that has no grounding at all, which I think is going to help having the sun move into Taurus to smooth things over. How I would like us to use this moon, Neptune, moon, Jupiter energy would just to expand your mind, to go higher as to what you believe is possible, because the eclipses acting as grand beginnings, grand endings, there's a lot of potential for things to appear, to grow, to become clear. I don't know if I said to become clear twice, but if I did, it's obviously a message. So note what's coming through on Wednesday and maybe even challenge yourself to go bigger. Or if there's been something that has been holding you back out of fear or judgment, that moon in Sagittarius is a lot more carefree and just kind of like, F it, let's just throw caution to the wind sometimes and just go after what we want, a more optimistic sense of things. And then with all of this Piscean energy, it's very dreamy, very romantic. Just don't get lost in the fantasy. Be sure to ground yourself and you'll be good to go. Okay. Beautiful. When we move on to Thursday, this is really nice because with the moon in Capricorn, it's making that sextile to Mars and it's making a trine to the sun. So this is very productive, very let's get things moving. You might even felt that more of a productive tone on Wednesday with the moon making that sextile to Saturn. And then Thursday, you're like, I have a very clear, yeah, even my whole left side is tingling, just very clear, structured idea of what I want to get done. Part of me also thinks as well with this Mars moon sextile, Mars is exalted in Capricorn, right? So the Mars in Pisces can get some support from this Capricorn energy. And part of me is like, if we could do some massage or some heat with liquid and the body. So even if that's drinking some really warm tea to soothe your body or doing a steam room or doing a massage with oil, I think there could be something there as well that if you're feeling a little bit sore or if you're not feeling overly productive, let's incorporate some heat and some water to our body to get things moving. This could also be a really good day too for like physio or chiro or acupuncture, just moving things in the body. I like this as well, especially given the sun moon trine here. And like I said, productivity, knowing exactly what you want to do. This is kind of like get her done, let's go. And then when we move to Friday, this is just really nice on all accords. I would say that this is probably one of the best days of the week, in my opinion. We have the moon making that trine to Mercury. We also have the moon making sextiles to Venus, Jupiter, and Neptune. Part of me think that there is probably going to be something to celebrate, something exciting, or just a clear notion or download or belief that's coming very soon, or that is going to propel you into eclipse season. Like I said, Mercury's getting closer and closer to that north node, and we still have Mercury within a 3-degree orb sextile Venus. So either correspondence or a promotion or news or a belief, some kind of communication here that is going to set you up really nicely is very likely to happen, in my opinion, on Friday. So go out and celebrate, go out and have some fun. It's kind of like, I just got this big juicy promotion, or I left something that is no longer aligned. I want to celebrate it. Venus rules over Friday. Venus is getting some nice love here from everything. So go out and enjoy on Friday. Okay. And then both Saturday and Sunday, we have the moon in Aquarius. And then, like we said before, now Mercury is making that exact conjunction to the north node. So here's the thing, Taurus, it's fixed Earth. It can sometimes be slow to move or wants to make sure that it's going to have the resources and the security and the stability before it makes that next step. With having Mercury conjunct the north node, this is true for everyone, but especially if you have prominent fixed energy, especially in that third decan, so 20 to 29 degree mark, that there might be an idea or a thought that comes through that might maybe cause some unease or make you uncomfortable, but you know deep down that that's going to help you get to the next level, or that's a direct download from God's source, universal energy, on what is needed to take precedent, especially in the house in your own natal chart ruled by Taurus, right? And we do have the moon making that square to the sun on Saturday. So for me, that's a bit of head versus heart as to what you want to go with. And we were talking about that before, right? On Monday, when the moon is in Scorpio, making that square to Saturn, and the sense of what do we have to do versus what we feel versus listening to external sources. For me, that's also kind of bookending the week as well. Are we going to pay attention to thoughts or outdated beliefs, or are we going to go with our heart and really trusting that we're moving in the right direction? And this also overflows into Sunday. Sunday can be maybe even a bit more discerning, or we want to slow down a little bit on Sunday with the moon making that conjunction to Saturn, the moon making a square to Uranus and Mercury. So it might feel like a little bit of hurry up and wait, or I know this is the right step I need to make, but I need to wrap up some loose ends. And even like we said on Friday, there's a lot to celebrate, but you might feel that you need to have a conversation first, or you need to make sure that everything is ready to go on this side of the fence before we can fully vacate this side, kind of thing, right? So I would just take time to slow down on the weekend, not need to go anywhere quickly. Like I said, we're in Taurus season, and we're literally, when we end this week, the following week is the new moon solar eclipse in Taurus. So like I said, a lot is going to come to the surface. A lot is going to be made clear. And when we are on the precipice of a massive level up, or when things are becoming that much more easy to discern, sometimes it's not easy for everyone else, because maybe they haven't been doing the work, or they don't have the same beliefs or the same core values. So that's also something to note as well. It might be very evident on what you need to do, but it doesn't mean that everyone's going to be as sympathetic or as understanding when you want to leave that job or that relationship, or maybe voice your opinions for the first time and they're not used to that. So it could be a bit of both. So ground in, know what you need to do over the weekend, and that'll set you up really nice for the upcoming eclipses. Okay. Beautiful. So the question that I wanted to answer for this week is, are cusps real? I get this question a lot in terms of if you're born near the end of one zodiac season. So it's like, oh, I'm a Libra Scorpio cusp, or I'm a Capricorn Aquarius cusp. People ask me if that's a thing. No, in my opinion, cusps aren't real. I think where it can get confusing for some people, where they feel like they're a bit of one sign, a bit of the other, is because Mercury and Venus don't ever get too far away from the sun. So Mercury can only ever get 28 degrees away from the sun, and Venus can only ever get 48 degrees away from the sun. So I'll give you an example here. I pulled up a fun chart to show this. So if we look at Dolly Parton as an example, Dolly Parton is born on January 19th, 1946. So January 20th is usually when Aquarius season begins. And we can see in Dolly's chart that she has her sun and Venus and Mercury all in the sign of Capricorn or her sun, pardon me, is at 29 degrees. So we wouldn't say that Dolly is a Capricorn Aquarius cusp. She's a Capricorn. You are either 29 degrees of one sign, or you are 0 degrees of the other. And even Dolly's chart is very indicative of her life. She's a Virgo rising, and her MC is in Gemini. Both Virgo and Gemini are ruled by Mercury. Mercury conjunct Venus in her 5th house of creativity, known for her voice. It's all very beautifully aligned. And this is just something that, of course, Pop-Astrology likes to talk about in terms of cusp, or you're a bit of this or a bit of that. But even if for Dolly's chart, for example, maybe if her Mercury was in Aquarius, her whole entire life might have been different, given that she is a Virgo rising, Gemini rules her MC, right? So that's where it can get the different layers of astrology and different timing techniques and how we look at one's chart. But if we're just going by sun sign astrology, you're either 29 degrees of one sign or 0 degrees of another. And then, of course, let's say in Dolly's case, her sun is in Capricorn, but if she had Mercury and Venus in Aquarius, then there might be themes of both that Aquarian and Capricorn that would be present in her chart. Or even just looking at your own chart, if Mercury and Venus are in one sign and your sun sign is another, you might feel like you have elements of both, which of course makes sense. We know that in astrology, we're not just looking at the sun sign. If anything, I would implore you to look at your rising sign first for an overall view of your personality, your appearance, how you're first perceived by others. But that's also a different conversation altogether. So let me know if that resonates for you. If you have any questions about cusps or any questions about what we discussed. And remember, we also have tickets for the live webinar chronicling the eclipses, and our Libra full moon workshop. All the details can be found in the description of this video. Thank you all for watching. Have a beautiful week and start to your Taurus season. Happy birthday to all the Taurans who have their birthday this week. And I shall talk to you soon. Bye.